Okay, due to some technical problem, the network was lost. So we will continue the same lectures which we have already started. So we will try to complete the topic which has been started. So we have started with the materials, that is the measurement of materials and work. So what are the different measurements of the materials and work? That is based on IS 1200. Again, as per IS 1200, the different items of work will be measured depending upon the items of work. ठीक है ना? तो item of work से depend करके we will find out the various quantities in various things will be measured. So number one is earthwork in excavations. So earthwork in excavations, it has been measured in cubic meters. ठीक है ना? Cubic meters में normally that means earthwork in excavations, it will be measured in the cubic meters. Next is concrete. It has been again measured in the cubic meters. Concrete, it has been measured in cubic meters. DPC, dam proof course, it has been measured in, if it is thickness should be mentioned, so it has been measured in square meters. One thing it is to be kept in mind, for DPC, always the thickness will be mentioned, it will be given, the thickness will be given. So depending upon the thickness, it will be measured in a square meters. Okay? And it will be measured in a square meters. What about brickworks? Number fourth is nothing but the brickwork. It will be measured in the again the cubic meters. Stonework or stone masonry, it will be measured in the cubic meters. Woodwork, it will be measured in the cubic meters. Again, steel work, it will be measured in a quintal. So quintal, first we will find out the quantities in quintal. Then it can be converted into kgs also, because quintals into kgs. 1 kg, that is 1 quintal is equals to 100 kgs, whereas tons is 1000 kgs. Okay, na? So steel work will be measured in a quintals also. Okay. What about the roofing? Roofing, that is the units for measurement for roofing is cubic meters. Next is plastering. Number ninth is plastering points. That is pointing and finishing. It will be measured in the square meters. Because the thickness of plaster is very less, that is about 12 mm thickness is of plaster is there, so therefore it has been measured in a square meters. The plastering points and the finishing, it has been measured in a square meters. Next, number 10 is flooring will be measured in the square meters. Flooring, that is the terrazzo flooring or tile fitting, or that is the mosaic tile flooring, or normally there is the flooring, it has been measured in a square meters. Number 11 is a rainwater pipe or a plain pipe. It will be measured in the running meters, that is per running meters. That is laying down of the pipelines of our rainwater pipelines or plain pipelines. It will be in running meters. Number 12 is steel wooden trusses. It will be in numbers. If we are erecting a steel truss, at that time it will be measured in a numbers. Okay. Number 13 is nothing but the glass panels. It is being measured in a square meters. When it has been supplied, so glass panels, it has been measured in square meters. Fixing, 14th is fixing of glass panels or cleaning. It is nothing but it is being measured in a numbers. Then how to find out? We have seen the modes of measurement. That is the different modes of measurement we have seen in previous slide. So depending upon this, how to find out the quantity of any item of work. What is the procedure? How to find out? The quantity estimation methods, that is the quantities like earthwork in excavations, foundation in concrete, the brickworks in plinth and surface structures, or plastering, or flooring, or DPSC, or brickworks. All these can be worked out by any of the following methods. Number one method is Longwall Shortwall methods, and number two is centerline methods, and number three is partly centerline and Shortwall, that is Longwall Shortwall methods. Okay, so these are the three methods. Actually, there are two methods. The third one is the combination of the both methods. That is the centerline method or long wall short wall methods. But in actual practice, there are only two methods. That is the long wall short wall methods and the centerline methods. So we will see how to find out the quantity of any item of work with the help of long wall short wall methods and with the help of centerline methods. What is actually long wall short wall methods? So in long wall short wall methods, first we have to distinguish the, first we have to draw a center line plan. सबसे पहला काम क्या है? First for long wall short wall methods, first we have to draw a center line plan. ठीक है ना? In this method, the wall along the length of room is considered to be a long wall, while the wall perpendicular to the long wall is considered to be short wall. Along the length, if the length of the wall is long, then at that time we will consider this x, or in y directions we will consider this as a long wall, and the other perpendicular directions we will consider as a short wall. Number first thing. What is next thing for long wall short wall methods? To get the length of a long wall or short wall, calculate first the center line length. First important is, first we have to find out the center to center distance of different long wall and short wall. Okay. The next stage, we have to find out the center to center distance of individual walls. Okay. Then the length of long wall, that is out to out, may be calculated after adding a half width or breadth at each end to its center line length. That means we will see in this long wall short wall methods with a small sketch how to find out the length of long wall and how to find out the length of a short wall. Okay. So in this, inner dimensions is there, inner rooms is there, and we have drawn a center to center distance. That is the we have drawn a center line plan, and center line plan we have to calculate the length of long wall. Length of long wall we have given this as capital L, and this is nothing but this dotted line is nothing but the center to center length of a long wall. Same way, outer wall is nothing but the that is after leaving this, because we have included this hash portion as the long wall. That means leaving this hash portion, this is nothing but the length of short wall. Okay, now this is S is nothing but the this double line wall, dark double line wall is nothing but the short wall. Okay. What about the center to center distance of short wall? So here I have drawn, we have stated as center to center length of the short wall. So what the long wall and short wall says, what this method says, we have to first draw center to center distance. So we have drawn center to center length. And what about this half width? So half left side width and half right side width. So what is the formula for this? The statement used for long wall, the L is equals to center to center length of long wall plus half the width for left side and half the width for right side. That means we have covered this complete hatch portions by this concept. Okay. The remaining thing is this portion is remaining. Okay, na? These are parallel to each other. This portion is remaining. So what the short wall says, center to center length of short wall is this, but we are calculating the center to center distance of short wall as from this point to this point, but this half that is width of section, it has already been included, therefore we have subtracting from the short wall. ठीक है ना? Short wall में क्या कर रहे हैं आप? We are subtracting. Why? Because it has already been included in the long wall. अगर यहाँ पे भी प्लस होगा तो that means we are taking in a double. ठीक है ना? we are taking double the wall thickness in long wall as well as in short wall. ठीक है? इसलिए शॉर्ट वॉल में क्या किया, सेंटर टू सेंटर लेंथ ऑफ शॉर्ट वॉल माइनस दैट इज हाफ विड्थ minus b by 2 is half the width of the sections. Okay, b stands for the width of the sections. In this way, what is the formula for the long wall and short wall? So length of long wall is equals to, can be calculated as center to center length of long wall plus width of section, simple in simple concept में. And what is short wall? The center to center length of short wall minus width of sections, minus width of section. Okay. So in this concerns we can find out the length of long wall and short walls. ठीक है ना? So the length of long wall and the length of short wall can be calculated with the for this concept. ठीक है ना? So here there is an example. The inner dimensions for this is nothing but the inner dimensions is that is 2 by 1 is the inner dimensions which has been given. That is 2 meters by 1 meters. 2 meters is the length of the inner dimensions of the room and 1 meters is the width of the room. ठीक है ना? 2 meters क्या है? Length of room है. 1 meters क्या है? Width of room है. Inner dimensions में. What is the thickness of wall? We have taken as 0.2 from all the sides. That means ये चारों side में क्या है? There is a wall thickness of 0.2 on all sides. That is capital B. अब क्या करना है आपको? By the concept of long wall short wall, which we have covered in previous slide, that is L is equals to center length of long wall plus width of sections for long wall. So 2.2 center to center distance of long wall कितना होगा? देखो, inner side is 2, half is 0.2 का half कितना होगा? 0.1. So 2 plus zero point 0.1 plus zero point 0.1, it comes to be 2.2 is the center to center length. Plus what about the width of sections? The width of section is nothing but 0.2. Width of section कितना हो गया? Width of section is 0.2. तो कितना हो जाएगा? 2.4 meters. In this way it will be 2.4 meters. ठीक है. वैसे सेम वे शॉर्ट वॉल के लिए देखो, सेंटर टू सेंटर लेंथ ऑफ शॉर्ट वॉल माइनस width of section. ठीक है. S is equals to, first of all we will find out the center to center distance of short wall. तो देखो 1 meters is the inner dimension, center to center कितना होगा? plus 1 that is 1.2 minus of what is the width of sections, it is 0.2. So 1.1 minus 0.2, it comes to be 1 meter. So what is the length of short wall? 1 meters. And what is the length of long wall? That is the 2.4 meters. Okay, is that clear to everyone? Yes. Okay. Next is center line methods. Again, the center line method is very important. This simple concept is used for center line method. Center line method में क्या होगा कि बहुत simple formula use होता है center line methods में, और center line method में क्या होता है कि first we have to draw the same जो आपने Longwall Shortwall methods में use किए थे, the same center to center length we have to find out, है ना. सबसे पहले काम क्या करना है, first we have to find out the center to center length. ठीक है ना. सबसे पहला काम क्या होगा, फर्स्ट वी आर फाइंडिंग आउट द सेंटर टू सेंटर लेंथ. तो क्या होता है इसमें, सेंटर टू सेंटर लेंथ निकाल लो. दिस मेथड इज सुटेबल फॉर वॉल्स ऑफ सिमिलर क्रॉस सेक्शंस. अब क्या होगा, हैंड द टोटल सेंटर दैट इज द सेंटर लाइन लेंथ इज मल्टीप्लाइड बाय विड्थ एंड डेप्थ ऑफ रिस्पेक्टिव आइटम टू गेट द टोटल लेंथ एट अ टाइम. ठीक है. सेंटर टू सेंटर लेंथ के बेस पे ही वी कैन फाइंड आउट विद द हेल्प ऑफ द सेंटर लाइन मेथड्स. ठीक है. That is partially a center line and partially as the cross wall method. That means we are using both methods simultaneously. We can use center line methods, and we can use there is nothing but the long wall short wall method in both simultaneously. So in detail we have seen the long wall short wall methods, and we have seen the center line methods. In which cases in such cases क्या होगा, देखो, center line method is applied to the external walls and long wall short wall method is used for internal walls. अब दोनों भी चीजें simultaneously use हो रही है, तो one thing it is to be kept in mind that center line method कौन से किसके लिए use होगा, this center line method will be used for external walls, whereas long wall short wall methods क्या के लिए use होगा, internal walls के लिए, it will be used for internal walls. ठीक है. So this method suits for different thickness of wall and different level of foundations. If there is a change in wall thickness, है ना, अगर चेंज इन वॉल थिकनेस होता है, जैसा एक्सटीरियर में नॉर्मली वी आर यूजिंग एज 9 इंच का वॉल रहता है एक्सटीरियर में, और 6 इंच इंटीरियर में रहता है, और पार्टीशन में 4 इंच होता है, या फिर इन सम केसेस 6 इंच का जो रहता है वो एक्सटर्नल वॉल्स रहता है, और 4 इंच का जो होता है वो पार्टीशन इंटरनल वॉल्स होते हैं. ठीक है. In some cases, so at that time where there is a combination of this change in the thickness of the walls, we can use both the methods. But one thing it is to be kept in mind that center line method external walls के लिए use होगा, और long wall short wall methods internal walls के लिए use होगा. ठीक है. Is that clear? Okay. This method suits for different thickness of wall and different levels of foundations. Because of this reason, all engineering departments are practicing this method. That means these two methods can be used simultaneously also. Okay? It can be implemented simultaneously also. So in most of the government departments or in most of the firms, these two methods can be used simultaneously. Okay. Next is, what are the types of estimates? We have seen in somewhere as detailed word was used in previous slides. So we will study in detail what is detailed estimate. We will study in detail what is a detailed estimate and what is an approximate estimate. ठीक है. Detailed estimate क्या होगा? The preparation of a detailed estimate consists of working out quantities of various items of works and then determining the cost of each item. That means every item to be calculated separately. In a structures or in a construction, the different items of works are there. So we have to find out the item that is the we have to prepare a detailed estimate consisting of working out quantities of various item of works and then determine the cost of each items. This has been prepared in two stages. Number one stage में क्या करेंगे आप measurement करेंगे और calculations होंगे. Number one, at first stage we will measure the different quantities. Number one thing is, at first stage we will measure the quantities. Number and calculations of quantities, measure or calculate करना है. That means one and the same. So we will find out the quantities required for a particular item of work. सबसे पहली चीज number one is we are finding out the quantities required. How much quantities of earthwork and excavations it will be required, or how much quantity of PCC will be required. So first we are measuring and to find out the quantities. Up next is rates. Abstract sheet is to be prepared in which rates are quoted, in which rates are written, and to find out the total cost of each item of work. Each item of work. Okay. Next is details of measurements and calculations of quantities. How we can measure the details of measurements and calculations of quantities. The complete work is divided into various items of work such as earthwork and excavations, brickworks, RCC, plastering, flooring, DPC, or paintings, or door fixing, window fixing. So these are the various types of works, items of works. Okay. The details of measurements are taken from drawings and entered in respective column of prescribed performa. ठीक है ना? So that means while measurement, we have to first measure and to enter. Then we have to enter in a respective columns. In the respective columns, we have to enter these measurements which we have the things which we have calculated. The quantities are calculated by multiplying the values that are in numbers column to depth column are as shown in the figure. That means we have to multiply that is the numbers or length or weight and height. So these things to be multiplied. ठीक है ना? तो these are the sample copy for this. जो है measurement की जो sample copy है. This is nothing but the performer for the measurement of the quantities. How to measure and how to feed the data in a proper form. ठीक है ना? Proper form में कैसा feed करना है. These are the things taken. ठीक है. उसमें देखो डिटेल्स ऑफ मेजरमेंट फॉर्म में क्या रहता है. सबसे पहले सीरियल नंबर. नंबर वन इज सीरियल नंबर. नंबर टू इज डिस्क्रिप्शन ऑफ आइटम्स, whether it is earthwork in excavations or PCC or DPC or plastering or flooring or painting or finishing any type of work. So description. Numbers is 1 2 3 4 5 6 numbers of long wall. उसकी लेंथ रहेगी, लेंथ ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर सेक्शंस आइटम ऑफ वर्क, विड्थ ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर आइटम ऑफ वर्क, डेप्थ or height of that particular item of work. Quantity is just the multiplication of n numbers into LBH. Numbers into LBH is just the quantities. And the explanatory notes, if there is some extra notes to be written here, that is the what was the foundations strata, whether it is a black cotton soil, whether it is a hard strata, or any notes to be written. A separate column is given in this special notes to be written in this column. Okay. Next is abstract sheet. We have seen in detail estimate the two things to be considered. First क्या था? First is the measurement of the quantities. जो performer I have shown, we have to feed the measurements, we have to feed the data in LBH form, that is the length width height form. And number two thing is जो data आपको वहाँ से मिला था, जो quantities we have calculated in that particular sheet, measurement sheet, same quantity will be taken and to be included in the abstract sheet to find out the cost of that particular item of work. Okay? The abstract of estimated cost. The cost of each work is carried out from the quantities that already computed in the detail performer which I have shown, uh, form at a workable rate. But the total cost is worked out in a prescribed form is known as an abstract sheet, abstract of an estimated form. Okay? So it has been entered in a separate sheet which has been called as the abstract sheet. Take an abstract form bolo, abstract sheet bolo. It has been taken care in this abstract of estimated form. Okay? 4% of estimated cost is allowed of 80, that is the PT supervisions के लिए और contingencies के लिए और unforeseen expenses के लिए. It has been taken as 4%. Okay, this may be slightly changes there may be a slight change in this. The 4%, it is approximately, it has been taken as the 4% for PT, that is for the unforeseen expenses. This is nothing but the format or the performer for the abstract sheet, abstract of the estimated cost. ठीक है ना? Abstract of estimated cost कहाँ पे कैसा रहेगा? तो this is there is nothing but the abstract sheet or abstract of estimated cost. उसमें which things are covered? The abstract of estimated cost में number one is the item numbers, 1 2 3 4 5 6. These are the item numbers or the numbers which has been given. Now number two is number two column is nothing but the description or particulars in the sense, which is earthwork in excavations or PCC or DPC. So these are the description or the particulars. Number third is the quantity which we have already calculated in the measurement sheet में जो आपने quantities निकाले थे, that quantities to be feed here quantities में, ठीक है. Next is important is unit of measurement. This particular quantity, whether it has been measured in meter cube, it is to be measured in meter square, or it has been measured in square running meters. So units are very important, ठीक है. Rates, rate of that particular item of work, and per unit, that means rate per unit, that is again the same thing, meter cube, and the amount, just it is the multiplications of quantities and the rates. You can quantities and the rates, these two columns will be multiplied to find out the amount of any structures, the amount of particular item of works. The amount can be find out with the help of just the multiplications by the quantities with the current rates or with the rate per unit, है ना, rate per unit, ठीक है. Next important is rules for deductions. This is very important, because nowadays different rules it is to be taken care while estimating. So this rules for deductions is very important. Okay? What are the different rules for measurement of each items as per IS 1200? Again 1200, it has given us some provisions regarding the measurements, how we can measure the different quantities, because measurement is again very important. Okay, so all works shall be measured subject to the following tolerances which has been given in IS 1200. Number one is linear measurement, or shall be measured to the nearest of 0.01 meters. That means linear measurements to be accuracy up to the extent of accuracy. What is the extent for the accuracy for a linear measurement? That has been measured, that means in one dimensional, that is in running meters. So it is to be measured to our nearest up to 0.01 meters. It is to be measured up to an extent of 0.01 meters. Number two, देखो, when area it is to be measured, तो area shall be measured in nearest to areas कैसे होगा? Area shall be measured to the nearest of 0.01 square meters. ठीक है? तो areas कैसे रहेंगे? Areas to be measured shall be measured to the nearest of 0.01 square meters. When there is, suppose, area in case of plastering, in case of flooring, when it has been measured in square meters, so such quantities it is to be measured nearest of 0.01 square meters. ठीक है ना? So for linear measurements it is to be again 0.01 meters, whereas in areas 0.01 square meters. Whereas in cubic contents, suppose in earthwork in excavations or brickworks or RCC in slab or PCC, it is to be measured in 0.01, that is cubic meters, nearest to 0.01 cubic meters. Okay. Next is important is what is administrative approval. Again, this word is very important. What is administrative approval? Administrative approval, that means this is the part, this is the sanctioning part है ना. Government bodies में क्या होता है कि this administrative approval plays an important role, because we have to that is from the competent authorities or from the government firms, we have to get accepted, ठीक है, the formal acceptance related to the requirement of a department with respect to the cost and work from the competent authority of the concerned department to execute the work. That means this is nothing but the, in short, is nothing but the formal acceptance of a particular type of work. ठीक है ना? This is nothing but the formal acceptance. आप कोई government department से acceptance हो रहा है कि this type of work will be carried out in a such manner, so this acceptance will be given by the government firms. under the head as the administrative approval. नेक्स्ट पॉइंट देखो, नंबर 2 क्या है, एन अप्रोक्सीमेट एस्टिमेट आर सबमिटेड टू ऑब्टेन एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव अप्रूवल. तो हियर दिस थिंग इज इम्पोर्टेंट. वी हैव टू अप्रोक्सीमेट एस्टिमेट टू बी सबमिटेड फॉर एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव अप्रूवल. एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव अप्रूवल के लिए क्या लगेगा, तो वी विल रिक्वायर an approximate estimate. ठीक है, approximate estimate are submitted to obtain the administrative approval to execute work within the sanctioned amount, within the that is the amount which has been sanctioned. ठीक है ना, within the sanctioned amount. Next is, what is a technical sanction? Again, the important term is technical sanctions. Technical sanction क्या रहेगा? What is a technical sanction? Again, the important is after obtaining of administrative approval, after that is the confirmation from the government department regarding the execution of work related with the cost. तो अब क्या होगा, next stage में technical sanctioning होगा. ठीक है ना, technical sanctioning क्या है? After obtaining administrative approval to a work, it is necessary to prepare a detailed estimate. Here important is, after that is particular thing it has been accepted from the government firms, next stage is detailed estimate. ठीक है ना, एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव अप्रूवल में प्रिलिमिनरी एस्टिमेट, एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव सॉरी दैट इज एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव अप्रूवल के लिए वी रिक्वायर दैट इज अप्रोक्सीमेट एस्टिमेट, बट फॉर टेक्निकल सैंक्शनिंग के लिए वी रिक्वायर अ डिटेल्ड एस्टिमेट, डिटेल्ड ड्राइंग और डिटेल्ड एस्टिमेट करना है. ठीक है, which is to be submitted to the appropriate authorities of a public work department or PWD department of the state government for sanctions. One thing is most important is we have to prepare a detailed estimate. In this case, we have to prepare a detailed estimate. Number 2 point is nothing but if the estimated amount of work exceeds 10%, that means if it exceeds 10%, if it is more than 10%, then what is to be done? If the estimated amount of work exceeds 10% of the amount of administrative approval, technical sanction can only be granted after obtaining administrative approval for the work. So once again, if it is more than 10%, then at that particular stage, technical sanction can only be granted after obtaining our administrative approval. That means once again we have to go for administrative approval. Once again we have to go for administrative approval. ठीक है ना? So then after administrative approval, then further is technical sanctioning can be done for a particular type of work. Next important is, what is a preliminary or approximate estimate? This word was repeated every time. What is a preliminary estimate? Preliminary estimate to be prepared for that is the administrative approval. So what is actually a preliminary estimate, or what is an approximate estimate? The words are same. ठीक है ना? Preliminary or approximate estimate one and the same. What is this word stands for? ठीक है? So it is a rough estimate prepared to know the approximate cost of work in short time. ठीक है ना? This is in short time. We can prepare an estimate depending upon the existing building, जो existing building nearby था. तो depending upon the data which has been available, depending upon the experiences which has been available, depending upon the similar work which has been carried out, we can easily prepare a preliminary estimate. We can easily prepare a preliminary estimate depending upon the knowledge as well as the existing structure, जो आजू बाजू में जो था existing similar works जो हो रहे थे, depending upon the experience point of view, we can easily prepare a approximate estimate. Okay, is that clear? Number third is the various factors of comparison may be the cubic content. The comparison factors may be cubic contents. We can compare with the existing structure through the cubic content, through per capita, through per kilometers of survey unit. These are again a simple criteria on which we can have a comparison of the two things. Next is, what is the purpose of approximate estimate? Why it is to be prepared? Why it is must to prepare an approximate estimate? Why it is what is the need of approximate estimate? Why we have to prepare an approximate estimate? Number one is to know the feasibility of project, because it gives an idea what is the amount required for execution of particular type of work. ठीक है ना? So how much amount is required? So whether it is feasible to execute a particular type of work, whether it is feasible to carry out the particular type of work. So this can be find out with the help of approximate estimate. With the help of approximate estimate, we can easily find out the feasibility of the work. Number two is we can find out the durations. What is the span of completions? Because depending upon the cost or depending upon the different items and depending upon the length of work, we can easily find out the project durations. Okay? So this approximate estimate gives an idea related with at what time it will be completed. What will be the durations required? Okay? Project durations required, the completion time for completing the particular type of project. Number third is for administrative approval. We have seen in previous slide also. Sorry. To obtain administrative approval, this approximate estimate plays an important role, because on the basis of approximate estimate we can have an administrative approval that has been approved from the government forms. Number fourth is nothing but for insurance or for tax scheduling, tax fixations below or tax scheduling below. This approximate estimate plays an important role for insurance point of view. Next is for planning the project. How much days will be required? How much cost will be required? What will be the planning work? It has to be carried out. So for this planning work, this estimation, that is approximate estimate, can be used. Okay? And finally, for the investment point of view also, this approximate estimate, if we are in if some firm it is interested for investing his amount, or is interested to give some amount in the for profit point of view. So for investment point of view, this approximate plays again an important role. Next, what is the different types of approximate estimate? What are the different types of how to prepare an approximate estimate? What are the different types or classifications of approximate estimate? Number one is plinth area method. Number two is cubic content method. Number three is service unit method. Number four is approximate quantity methods. And finally, the typical bay methods. Okay, as the name says, plinth area method on the basis of plinth, comparison between the plinth. Cubic content, the contents on the basis of cubic. Okay. Service unit provided, numbers on the basis of service which has been provided from the approximate quantities which has been prepared, and by the base. Okay, na? Some quantities which has been measured in base. Suppose railway sheds है, godown से, warehouses है ना? तो the factory sheds है, तो which has been measured in base, 1 bay, 2 bay, 3 bay. So typical bay method can be used as an approximate estimate. Okay. So in fast way, we will see the contents related with this plinth area method, external dimensions of the buildings at a floor level. We can have external dimensions of the building at the floor level. First, we have to find out the plinth area of a building. Depending upon this plinth area, we can easily find out the approximate cost of any structures. That is the plinth area method. External dimensions of building at a floor level. That is quoted. Another open areas, it should not be included in this case, because it will not be included for the calculations, because open space it has been provided. So courtyard and open areas will not be considered for the approximate estimate. Okay. For multi-storied buildings में क्या होगा देखो, for multi-storied buildings, there is plinth area for each story is determined separately, because the plinth area rate for each story will be varying, ठीक है ना, depending upon the मतलब aesthetic view or depending upon its purpose. So the at every story the rates will be different. So we have to find out the plinth area rate for each story, ठीक है ना, each story. Number third point is plinth area rate is known from cost of similar buildings. We have seen in this thing by with help of the similar buildings, we can easily find out the cost, and the same cost can be multiplied for the existing building. And existing in the sense the building which is to be prepared. Okay, na? So depending upon the existing building or depending upon the similar building, we can multiply that cost for the construction which has for the building which has been constructed. Number two is cubic content method. Number two क्या है देखो, number two is cubic content methods. Number two method is cubic content method. determined by the multiplying length, width, and height. As the name says, we have to multiply the three dimensions, that is the length, width, and height. And on the basis of this, we can easily find out the cubic content methods. Like we can find out with the approximate estimate. Okay? Next, number three is service unit method. That means which service it has been provided. That means on the basis of if it is a school building, we can estimate on the basis of per class room. Hospital buildings we can estimate on the basis of bed. Stadium or theaters we can calculate on the basis of seats. We can estimate on the basis of seats. Water tanks we can estimate on the basis of liters. Office we can estimate on the basis of rooms. How many rooms are available on in a building. So we can easily find out with the help of the rooms. Bridge for bridges we can find out on the basis of per meter of span. Taken per meter of span, say we can easily find out for the bridges. So these things it has been covered for the service unit method. Taken for school buildings, may per class, hospitals, per bed, stadiums, seats, water tanks, liters, may office per room, and bridges that has been calculated for the per meter of the span. Again, approximate, that is the next quantity is nothing but the fourth number is nothing but the approximate quantities method. That means we can find out the approximate quantities of different items of gold. So on two things while finding out the quantities, two things to be taken care. Structures divided into two parts. Number is first is substructures, that is foundation including plinth, and next is nothing but the superstructures. So on basis of these two things, we can find out the approximate quantities required for a particular type of structures. Taken approximate quantities can be find out. That means structures can be divided into two, that is the substructures and the superstructures. With the help of this we can easily find out the approximate cost of any structures. Okay. Last is nothing but the typical B methods. Number fifth is nothing but the last is nothing but the typical B methods. Okay. On the basis of, as I've already said, it has been used, the B's, it has been divided for the warehouses, for the railway, there has been platforms, factory sheds. In this, we can use the typical B methods for railway sheds or factory sheds, go downs, warehouses. And so, how to find out the approximate cost is equals to number of B's into cost of one B. So on the basis of this, we can use the typical B method also. Structures of detail estimate. First, we have to the total detail estimate should accompanied with a report is there. Specifications will be required. Drawings, which that means plans, elevations, and sections will be required. There is design charts and calculations will be required. Standard schedule of rates will be taken care for calculating of the detailed estimate. That means specifications will be required. There is drawings, design charts, and calculations will be done. And finally, the schedule rates will be required. Market rates, current rates will be required for the particular type of item in order to calculate a particular item of works. These things we have already covered. Okay. So rate analysis we will cover in next lectures. So how to find out the actual cost of any structures, what are the different things considered while finding out the cost of any structures. So we will study or we will take in the next few lectures. Okay. So here we will end this today's lectures. Due to some technical problem, it has been divided into two due to some network problem. So this in this two we have covered near about the things related with the cost estimations. Okay. So here we can end this today's lectures. So thank you everyone. Thank you. If anyone having doubts related with this, they can ask. They can that is mail me or they can ask on. They can give the questions on the chat box. Okay. So here we will end this today's lectures. Okay. So thank you everyone. Thank you. Thank you.